What's up? Who up right now? What's up? Who up right now? I'm on live. I just jumped on here to let you ladies know that yes, a goat can go live. Whoa.
Following the most recent chaos in the Wise Rico trial, Young Thug was released from jail and accepted a plea agreement. He has since returned home to his family. But DJ, Academics believes it will not be easy to convince others that this is all a setup for Young Thug's return to prison.
I know some of his fans think he beat the case. He definitely didn't beat the case. Beat the case means you got no stipulations. The Young Thug thing is a win, but it's also a huge setup. If you gonna tell me that they're gonna monitor him on a probationary basis for 15 years, can't be in Atlanta, can't communicate with co-defendants or gang members, he can't rap about, he can't promote any music that has to do with what they believe is gang activity. Well, he's always gonna talk about him and his doing his thing. They might consider that gang activity. He might be like, yo, me, it's like, yo, we going to the park getting lit. We going to the club getting lit. They might be like, oh no, you talking about a gang. So, we celebrating right now because I think we could all see, if you followed that trial at all, whether you're a fan of Thug or not, you can see the pain, you can see this was going through it. Like, he gained a lot of weight. Everybody know Thug was not that weight, so we happy he got out, but we definitely got to be very cognizant of how it's going.
Scholars and others think Young Thug's court statements were the only reason he was freed, so it won't be that easy for him. He would tell the judge and jury about the kind of man he is and how sincerely sorry he is for everything he has ever done.
Anything that you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. I take full responsibility for, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom. My mom got 11 kids. I can't say all their names, my managers, my kids that's not here. Really everybody that got something to do with this situation, I want to say sorry for just having so much time invested into this, and I am a smart guy, I am a good guy, and I really got a good heart, I find myself in a lot of stuff because I was just nice or cool, and I understand that you can't be that way when you reach a certain height because it could end bad.
Since he had touched a nerve with many members of the jury and the judge present in the courtroom, the Young Thug continued his speech, which caused everyone in the room to cry.
That you allow me to go home today and just trust in me to just do the right thing and never see you again unless it's at a bar in the future or something. Just out of this type of situation, I promise you I won't ever be in this type of situation again. I'm going away. I've learned from my mistakes. I come from nothing and I've made something and I didn't take full advantage of it. I'm sorry. Through these last 2.5 years of my life, you are really, truly, honestly, the best thing that has happened to me because you made everything fair for me and everybody involved on both sides, I'm sorry to the sheriff, everybody for just having to put extra time in. I know y'all got paid more money, but I'm sorry for y'all having to put this extra time in to be away from y'all family, and I just hope that
Young Thug would conclude his remarks by just letting the judge know how much he has done for his community and that, should he be freed today, he may resume aiding those in need in areas that are in dire need of financial support.
You find it in your heart to allow me to go home and be with my family and just do better as a person. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I am. I know the heights I've reached. I know the impact I got on people, period, in the community, all people. I learned that late like these past 2 or 3 years of my life, I kind of learned that late, and maybe it was because I was, probably on or anything, I don't know. But I have came to my senses and I understand what I mean to this world. But I am a good guy, I don't mind doing stuff like, free shows, and I always did that. I did free shows and gave it to single parents, millions of dollars. I made $1.8 million on a free show, and I gave it all to single parent charity, and I did.
28, however, you must witness the times when young Thug would approach the stand to accept the plea bargain to comprehend how everyone responded to his freedom.
Mr. Steele, Mr. Adams, Mr. Williams, where are we? Ready to go forward? All right. Y'all coming up here to the podium. All right, Sergeant, can you swear in Mr. Williams?
Raise your right hand if you swear firm testimony you give to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's your name, first and last. You might just tell first and last. Jeffrey Williams.
Jeffrey Williams, Jefffery Williams.
The state would announce that young Thug should be sentenced to 45 years with 25 years to serve. But Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, was not going to accept that offer at all. So they would do a special type of plea deal called a new LO, where the judge essentially determines young Thug's sentence. This was the moment when young Thug accepted his fate by allowing a plea deal to determine his future.
Mr. Williams, were you aware of the state's previous offer that was turned down prior to your making this non-negotiated plea?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, at this time, the state is making a recommendation of 45 years with 25 to serve in custody, followed by 20 on probation, subject to the special requirements of 1615 the gang statute.
The state would offer one more deal just before the judge would accept the terms of the Nulu agreement. It would be announced that if he had accepted CED's previous offer, he could have returned home today. However, he refused to accept the special conditions because the state wanted young Thug to turn on YSL members by declaring that YSL is a gang and that he would also have to provide information about 8 members who are still facing charges.
Would have been released today for 15 years on probation. If he successfully completes that probation, then he would not have to go to custody. If he did not, he'd face probation revocation as well as 23 years, as a court said, backloaded in the Georgia prison system. But we could not come to terms on all the conditions that the district attorney was insisting upon.
Young Thug's lawyer risked his entire future by rejecting the initial plea deal that was offered. We then saw Brian Steele announce to the courtroom that young Thug is willing to accept a plea deal, and it is reported that he pleads no contest to the RICO charge related to gang leadership. However, Thug remained steadfast in his commitment to his YSL associates, determined not to jeopardize his reputation.
One, which is the racketeering conspiracy count. Mr. Williams is tendering a plea under nolo contendere as to count 56, which is participation in a criminal street gang activity as being a leader or a supervisor or organizer. Mr. Williams is also tendering a plea to this honorable court as under nolo contendere. The balance of the counts, so he is tendering a guilty plea.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
would the court like to hear from the state or not?
About the NOLO issues?
Yes.
Sure.
Your Honor, the state asked that the court not accept a NOLO plea and require either a guilty plea or a not guilty plea as to these charges.
All right. I'm going to permit a NOLO plea as to counts 1 and 56.
The trial wasn't even scheduled to end for another 3 months, but young Thug wanted it over, so he would even declare that he needed to accept a plea offer today. Young Thug's attorney claimed that Thug insisted on this because he could not bear to see his children cry for 3 more months. If there was a chance for him to return home today, his attorney informed him that they were winning the trial. but he was fine with any outcome.
For almost 2 years since we did our jury selection initiation on January 4th, 2023. Mr. Williams been sitting in a jail since May 9th, 2022. This is 2.5 years waiting for the conclusion of the state's case and a verdict from the jury, and that's why he is tendering this plea. I'm telling the court this, and the court knows when you came out the first time, it's very hard for Mr. Williams. I am not supportive of what we're doing right now. I'm not against it. But I told Mr. Williams, you okay with me saying this? Yes. I told Mr. Williams that I think we're winning the trial and we should go to verdict. But he told me I can't wait another 3 months if there is any possibility I could go home because I have children that are hurt.
He agreed to a compromise after learning that his kids were begging to see their father and that young Thug was no longer able to take it. At this point, the court rendered its decision regarding young Thug and proceeded to impose the following sentence.
So essentially, the total sentence is 40 years to serve the first 5 years in prison, but commuted to the time that you have already served, followed by 15 years on probation, followed then by the backloaded 20 years, which can be served in custody and will be served in custody if you are not successful on your probation. If you are successful in completing your 15 years probation, that will be commuted to time served.
The news of young Thug's release from jail filled the courtroom with ecstasy. This even led to a post-game interview in which young Thug's attorney discussed how he now felt free from jail and the experiences he had.
As far as how Jeffrey's feeling now, he knows my feelings, which I'm not going to reveal for attorney-client privilege, but this is not the same as a not guilty verdict. That should have been rang. But nobody here wakes up every day on a concrete floor that they're calling his bed, gets up at 4:15, gets shackled at his feet, his waist, and his hands, comes to the Fulton County Courthouse to be on concrete, eating out of a bag. Doritos is his meal of choice. And then coming to a courtroom and sit there with a leg chain on him every single day and hear lie after lie. So for Jeffrey go home today and not have another 90 days or 120 days of it, he is very happy.
Now this would catch the attention of rappers in the industry. Doug explained it perfectly. He always felt that someone in the industry had a fixation on young Thug and wanted to keep him under their control forever. But thanks to Brian Steele's excellent legal skills, they were unable to do so for long.
You've been tapped into the YSL case at all, and how do you think that's been?
I've been trying to watch a little bit.
Do you think it's being mishandled?
I think it should have been dismissed. The shit with the judge that just happened.
That just happened.
Crazy, like trying to send his lawyer to jail. From the outside looking in, it's looking like they got something against him.
However, this situation also resembled what Bowie said about YW Melly. If the feds want to catch you, especially if you're a famous and wealthy rapper, they will find ways to keep you in prison. Yet this time, they could not succeed.
Now they're putting even more charges on him, and then
when they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted them bad when they waited for that law to get passed. They waited all the way.
Penalty.
So it'd be 8-4.
Oh right, yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was sitting in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a mistrial.
Yeah.
That made me like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like after a mistrial, that doesn't happen really.